Let's let it go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well. Good morning, top of the morning. It's a great day out here in sunny California. You'll listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. You know how we do it around here, straight up, head on, just straight talk. My co-host is the wonderful, the fabulous. You guys know how I do it every week. I'm looking in at these thesaurus, trying to find another adjective in which to describe him by. Keep coming up with the word wonderful. He's just wonderful. He's black. He's wonderful. He's intelligent. He's all of that on a bag of chips. He's a radio personality within his own rights. Let's give it up, you guys, for Mr. Keith Swanson. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How you be
today?
Oh, I'll be good.
Oh, it's so much happening. You know, I just got back from San Francisco. It's kind of nice. San Francisco's kind of nice. Like it might be a place you might want to live.
If you can afford it. If you can afford it up there.
That's the problem, huh? That's the problem. But it's nice. They have a lot of little things going on up there, you know. But I guess most people want to be in sunny California. That's why we can't hardly get on the 405 freeway, the 105, 9110, or whatever. We just can't hardly get about around here.
You go up to San Francisco in the wintertime, you'll find out why people live in sunny Southern California.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, you know, today, there's a lot's going on. But we have a show. I had people calling me, you know, when you're going to talk about what's going on with President Trump, when you're going to talk about all the mass murdering, when you're going to talk about. And I said, why do I need to talk about that? The major TV is talking about it all day and night. All your major radios are talking about it. We need to talk about something that impact our lives on a daily basis. So I'm not into that political arena, because when we get through talking about it, Keith, I found out it's just talk. It's nothing we can change. It's nothing we can do about it. So just for the sake of talking, I'm just too old for that. Just for the sake of talking, idle talking and chattering is beneath what I want to do, because I think we are in a mood that we have urgent needs that we need to attend to. So I just can't find the time to deal with that chitter-chatter. Because when it does south, there's nothing we can do about it.
No, it sure isn't.
You know, but talk about it, raise your blood pressure, get ulcer, make yourself sick. Then what you're going to do. So I can find better things to talk about. So today, I wanted to focus in on divorce rate. Top 5 reasons people divorce. Why do I want to do that? Because I know one thing, that African Americans are in a bad state financially. And I also know that most of the time, I can almost say all the time, when there is a divorce in the making, it further devastates us from a financial standpoint, because we lose. Most time one person can't pay the other one out in the house. So now the house gets sold, a piece of property that could have been left as a financial legacy
Mm-hmm.
for their children or children's children. So that's why I want to focus on issues that can move us to the next level or at least stabilize us, because we're very unstable as a people
Mm-hmm.
from an economic standpoint. So that's the wave that I want to move on, not all this other stuff about what Trump is doing and all this other stuff. So today,
forwarded to an automatic voice.
so today we're going to talk about the 5 top reasons for Black men and women divorcing. Now,
Wow.
I've already gotten some email. Why you got to talk about Black male, Black woman, and a Black man? I mean, divorce is divorce. All people divorce. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
For different reasons. And it's amazing that Black folk don't understand our particular issue. That's why Dr. Anderson talked about exceptionalism
No.
for Black folks. But we
Yeah.
don't want to accept the fact that we may be different in any aspects of our lives. That's why people jumped down my throat when I wrote the book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexual Made Simple, and Satisfying the Black Woman. Because we tend to want to have the notion that we are no different.
Yeah.
But we are. The different issues, the different adaptation that we had to adjust to,
Mm-hmm.
being brought to America, still have fragments
Oh yeah.
that interferes with our lifestyle, our behavior, what we will do and what we won't do. As Dr. Frances Cress Welsing put it so plainly, she said, for all we will do or will not do, it derived from our history and our experience.
Yep.
And many of us, the picture has been depicted in an erroneous light. We don't even know the truth about ourselves. So I think, Keith, when we embrace the fact that, yes, we are different. Yes, we do have different issues that impact our lives differently. And some of that stems back to our early beginning, our adaptation coming to America. It's impacted our forefathers. We are impacted by what they were impacted by. And we want to get on past slavery and everything else and not think about it. But it's impacting our lives. And I did research to look at the different reasons that
Right.
people talk about, 5 top reasons of divorce. And it's different for Black people.
Oh, huge. A lot different.
And people just send me email like they were just mad. How dare you act like Black folks different? Everybody get divorced. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for different reasons.
A
Different
re-
reasons.
And when Black folks divorce at higher numbers than everybody else.
Yes.
Yep.
For different reasons.
Mhm.
And if you ask them, they'll start talking about, lack of commitment. That's not what come out of Black folks' mouth about their divorce.
Mm-mm.
They don't think about that. The first thing comes out as we're going to talk about these things is actually infidelity. Cause more divorces among Black families, and money is number 2. That's not on the list for others when you ask them about their divorce.
No. Nope. Sure is not.
Right. And they're not talking about I was devalued because my wife made more money than me, so we were so unequally yoked. They're not talking about this, you all.
Mm-mm.
Okay? So don't ever think when you turn on the TV and you listen to all this stuff about divorce and other social issues, it's not about you. It's not about your situation. They're talking about the majority and not you. And you're trying to blend yourself into it without recognizing the problems. And if we go down the list and you look at, even with infidelity, it starts at what we call maybe number 4 or number 5. But then it backtracks and it causes lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
It if you deal with money issues, all this stuff can lead to our number one problem, which is infidelity. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it really is.
So we really do need to talk about. So, folks, don't get angry when we discuss issues and talk about it from an African American perspective. That isn't negative at all. That is only helping you to understand what it is about us, what we need for ourselves. And remember that we are not Caucasian clones. I think if we can get that out of black folks' head, we can move to the next level. We are not Caucasian clones. And I think they want to be. All these wannabes out there. Wow. So, Keith, should we talk about the number one and go on down?
Yeah. Because I hear about number one all the time.
Infidelity. You know, and a lot of time infidelity comes as the fact that people being that there's anger, there's resentment about something a person is doing or is not doing in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom. Okay, so then resentment builds up. We have differences in sexual appetites because people don't discuss that before they get married. What is their appetite? How often do you think people, Keith, sometimes say, we get married, how often do you want to have sex? People think, well, why are we going to ask somebody that? That's serious business.
Yeah, well, you can ask, but are people going to tell you the truth?
Well, at least you can say, well, I did ask you. Because one person may tell you, well, you know what? I intend to have sex every night. This is what I do. Every night and come home at lunchtime and do it then. Okay? So if you have that aggressive sexual appetite, then I think the person needs to know because they might be, once a week is good for me. I don't want to do it like that. So you're getting ready to get married, okay? So this is a real issue.
Yeah.
Lack of emotional intimacy.
Yeah.
I'm going to hug you and kiss you when we're in the bed at nighttime when we're getting ready to have sex. But through the day, I'm not going to pat you on the butt. I'm not going to kiss you on the cheeks. I won't get up in the morning and say, baby, how you doing, and hug you. Okay? And as we know, cheating starts with an emotional affair because somebody's not communicating. Somebody's angry. There's some resentment. And there's somebody at work or somebody in your surrounding that you find it comfortable to talk about what's going on in your bedroom, what's going on in your home. And then you develop some emotional ties, and the next thing it can go further. So there's a lot of reason for infidelity. But infidelity is on the top of the list for Black Americans, and it's not on the top of the list. Now, one of the reasons not on the top of the list, Keith, for others, because they don't view infidelity in the way that we do.
No, they don't.
Because Blacks been socialized, in the other communities, just like, well, it's a man's thing.
Yeah.
A men gonna be men. You hear all that kind of talk. But women feel as if Black women, that they are devalued. Is something wrong with me because many of them already come with such a poor image.
Yeah.
It's something wrong with me. I'm not beautiful enough. My hair is not, my hair is too kinky. I'm too Black. I'm too this. So they take infidelity.
Yeah.
The greater insult. Yeah, something is wrong with me. What does she have that I don't have? And when you look at white women have been accustomed to being cheated on ever since there was such a thing as cheat. When they looked out in the field and saw your baby, they knew that husband had cheated because they knew it was not your husband's baby. That's how we got all these different flower colors in the garden.
That is true.
So they're accustomed to that man cheating. I remember growing up and hearing people talk about the swing parties and the swap and all this kind of stuff. They don't see this in the same vein that we do.
Nope. Yep, and vice versa with when women cheat. So
That's why, folks, we're
Yeah.
talking about black folks today. If
Mm-hmm.
y'all don't mind, allow me to address concerns of black folks today. So we're talking about 5 top reasons that black men and women are ushered into a divorce. You can call us here at 310-928-7733. 310-928-7713. Don't get mad, just learn. Just learn. That's what I am talking about. Look like we have some callers on the board. I can't see it. Keith, can you? Do we have a caller?
They hung up. They didn't stay.
Okay. Okay, so we're talking, folks, about 5 top reasons that black men and women get a divorce. And it's not for the same reason that white folks and other folks get a divorce. To be very clear, we're not Caucasian clones, so get over it and learn and learn. Oh, I think I gave the wrong number out. 310-928-7733. So sorry. 310-928-7733. Folks, I got so excited I gave out the wrong number. That number again is 310-928-7733. Hit us up and give us your take, what you think about some of the reasons that black men and women get a divorce. And it's different, so much different from other people.
So what's number 2?
Number 2, infidelity, number 1. Number 2 is money issues. Financial goals. You know, people have different goals. You have a person saying, well, I want to save for the future. And you have a husband who's a right now. He lives for the day. That's a big issue in marriages. Their financial goals are different. I want to buy a house. Well, I want to buy a car. I want to leave an inheritance for my children. My dad and my mama didn't leave me anything. They got to go for themselves. All of these attitudes, these behaviors, that's a struggle in a marriage. One make more money than the other. Now, that's almost geared to the African American family, where we have this power struggle because one make more money. You don't have in other races. Yeah, there are women who make more money than their husband, but I don't think the attitude about it is the same as it is in the black community. We have some real issues with that, and we have more women making more money than men in the black community. Would you agree, Keith?
Yeah, we do.
So that becomes an issue.
It does become an issue, a main issue. I think I was reading in 2013, it's like 40% of black males had no income. It was a bad year, but that's just representative of, and especially when there's more women than men. So there's a lot of men that are in houses with women that they don't have no income. So I'm sure that's a big strife.
Right. And what percent you said that was?
It was in 2013. I think it was at the bottom, but I hope it's better now than it was then. But they said there was 40% of men had no listed income. Now they could have been hustling in the streets, they could have been doing other things, but they didn't have any listed income. That's it. I thought that was extraordinarily high.
That's a big percent. I can see that, Keith, because according to Dr. Anderson's report, I think it's like New York, there's a lot of different places where the unemployment rate is over 50%. So I can see that. I can see that being very common with 40% of men not having income, especially if it's based on working income that's coming from a job.
From a job, yeah.
And many of them do not have their own legal business.
Yep.
So I can understand that stat being somewhat correct. So we have infidelity, number 1, money issues, number 2, and a lot of infidelity come from the money issues because when there's not enough money, money and stress go hand in hand. When there's not enough money coming into the house, when there's economic challenge, you're going to have a lot of stress. And when you're going to have stress, you got attitudes, you have communication problem, you have anger, you have lack of communication, which lack of communication is number 3. Number 3 is lack of communication. Lack of communication leads to resentment and frustration. And some of that lack of communication comes because poor listening skills or judgmental skills. When I'm trying to talk to you, you think I'm beating up on you.
Right.
You know?
See that a
when
lot.
you're under stress, you become is it paranoid or just sensitive? I guess that's a better word.
I think we come with a lot of black people come with a lot of preconceived notions.
Okay.
They've been passed down, and when we get together, like I know, especially at the younger generations, we have these preconceived notions of how we're supposed to live and what life is supposed to be like, and how our partner is supposed to treat us. And I think nowadays, people are a lot less tolerant of each other than they used to be. So that causes a breakdown in communication. We don't even understand each other anymore.
And that's interesting because for many Black Americans, they're getting their expectation really from TV because many of them was not reared in the house with the mother and father, so they have no clue as to what goes on and what you're supposed to do. They just have guesstimations of expectation. Well, a man ought to do this and a woman's job is to do this because they have not seen it in reality. That's really deep, Keith, when you think of looking at, we say 60 to 7% of Black homes are headed by female. So where are you getting what the marriage is supposed to be like except from what you see on TV and the movies?
Yep. And the ones that are married or do come from it, you have a lot of this lack of communication, but they still they tough it out. So you see a dysfunctional marriage. You see very few functional marriages in the Black community.
And when you see this malfunction marriage, and when you get married, you bring that malfunction into yours because you think that's the reality. That's what a marriage is supposed to be like. Man, that's jacked up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's why all of us need to be on somebody's couch. We need more psychiatry. We need to be on somebody's couch because we have problems and don't know we have problems. Yeah. So we think we're really right. So here you are judging your man because of your maladjustment, so you thinking your perceived notion of what it should be like. Yeah. And if he doesn't live up to that, then something is wrong with him or something is wrong with her.
Right. Yep.
Family, that's some issues.
We come at it from two different directions. Black women think that Black men are supposed to save them like the white man saves the white woman, and Black men come in thinking that Black woman's attitude is supposed to be like like a white woman's on TV, and even though we're raised in the same family and we know they're better, we think that when we get married that it's supposed to be different, and it's not.
Oh yeah, that TV just got us. No, and when people don't communicate, it leads to resentment, it leads to frustration, and some people just shut off. They just stop communication because every time one begins to express how they feel, then you have the other party saying, "Well, that's not how you feel. You shouldn't think like that."
Oh yeah.
Maybe you don't like how I'm thinking or feeling, but you can't tell me what I'm feeling or what I'm not feeling. Yeah. And that becomes a problem in marriages. What you're really saying, you should not be thinking like that. Yeah. Maybe I should not, but I'm telling you, dude, this is what I'm feeling, but you shouldn't feel like that.
Yeah, black women do it all the time.
You shouldn't feel like that.
You shouldn't. Yeah, that's not what he means. Because I know you've been there. I've heard that from more. Because I know you counseled, had open counseling and stuff like that with with Black men and Black women, and Black women will say, "Well, that's not what he means." Even though he says it, even though he expresses what he means, it's not believed. Yeah. And I think that's culture where the opposite is for the white woman, the white couple. In other words, what a white woman says is not believed. So we are in opposition to I think the rest of the country. And we just don't work. We just don't work the same way. So we need different tools.
Yeah, and we have this body language. I mean, black folk really got some body language. Now, when we speak, we're speaking in two different tongues. Our body's saying one thing, our lips are saying another. Here's someone who's trying to get a point. Well, baby, this is really what I really mean. And you looking at that person, eyes rolled to the wall, looking off. Then you know there's no attention paid to you. You've already said, I devalue what you're saying. I've already said to my partner, you just lying. I mean, talk to the hand. So why would I continue to have a dialogue with you when you have shown me you have devalued every word that came out of my mouth?
Yeah, which leads to number one.
So then we stop talking, then we stop having the communication, because every time I tell you what I feel, you're gonna tell me I don't feel that way, and if I do, I should not feel that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The other thing under that communication is yelling at your spouse. Yelling when they say some snapping.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to keep talking to someone who's going to yell, who demean them, who's going to snap back?
Yeah. Yep. And this I don't know, it's part of the culture, and black men and black women say that's just the way we talk. But it doesn't mean it doesn't have an. Well, you heard it, Dr. Rose.
Yeah.
They said I keep it real. I give it to them raw. I don't hold back. I've heard many women say, if you're going to deal with me, you got to understand that I keep it real. I can't soften it up.
Right, and that's where, my mama, and dad talk like that all the time.
Yep.
You got to understand me. Take me for what, that's just me. I'm just being me.
I'm just being me. Yep.
But if you just being you, it's making me not feel good. Can you change? But here's what's interesting. You have to holler, you have to talk in that tone to me, your wife.
Yep.
But when you take your black butt to that job, why you not talking to them folks like that?
Because you're
Answer
white.
that for me, Keith.
Because the white man's ice is colder. You know better than talking to that white man like that. And I think that's part of the problem, that we can't talk to the white man like that. So what do?
Okay, so you have to bring it home.
Bring it home.
Everything you couldn't say on the job, you bring it home and say it to your wife and your children.
Yes, wife and your children. Yep.
You can't hold a marriage like that. Everybody deserves to be respected.
After stopping off at the liquor store and having a couple cocktails.
Right. And making nasty comments to express yourself, being sarcastic all the time. You ever been around people, every time you say something, they're being sarcastic? That doesn't make you feel good. Sarcasm need to go out the door in relationship and with a marriage. You need to be upfront, come clean with what you want to say, and stop all the sarcasm, the guessing game.
Yep, or shutting down altogether when it gets serious.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of men do that.
Yeah. You said, why are you not saying anything? Well, I don't talk that much, but yet you're on the phone. You're talking to your friends. You're talking to your buddies. You don't talk that much? Or you're saying, I don't talk that much to you? So does that mean that we don't have anything in common to talk about? Because see, you're on the phone. You're always talking to other people. Why aren't we having a conversation? Then we need to look at why.
Yeah, until it gets to be too much, and then that's when the yelling and the fighting and throwing stuff come out. Yeah.
That's not good, folks. We got to do better. And some of the other thing, constantly arguing. Now that I cannot deal with anybody who want to be arguing all the time. Every conversation you bring up is turned into an argument. Have you ever heard people like that, Keith?
Oh,
everything you can say, look like it's going to rain. What makes you think it look like it's going to rain? The cloud is like that 100% of the time. That had nothing to do with rain. The weatherman didn't say it was going to rain. Your knee ain't hurting, so it must not go rain.
You said, well, sometimes opposite attracts, but that doesn't mean opposites should marry.
Yeah.
just because opposites make good sex doesn't mean opposite make good marriages. And I think a lot of times what happens when you get mixed up like that is that we say that if I have a good sex with that person, that means that person will make a good spouse, and that's not always true.
It's not. So if that's going to be the case, you all need to agree on the fact that I don't do a lot of communication. This is I love your sex, and the wife may be saying, well, then I love what you can provide for me. So you come together on that agreement. So then you know what you're working with. You love the money. You love him providing and taking care of you, and he'll allow you to go and do what you want to do. You provide sex for him whenever he needs it. So if that's going to be your arrangement, you can live with that, fine. But don't get in there trying to have a traditional type marriage. When you all have agreed that that's not what you want. You got to know why you get into it.
Why you get into it, yep.
You know? And that's one of the problems. People get into marriage for reasons that they shouldn't, because I need somebody to take care of me. Or some people say, well, I got married because I just thought it was the right thing to do. Now, when they tell me that, I know what they're saying. Well, I don't want to be having sex with the person. I'm not married. So it becomes the right thing to do. That's what some people call being the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of...
That's not reason to get married.
There's a lot of...
It's not just for sex.
Well, unfortunately...
You don't want to sin when you're doing other things that's sin. Come on, you all. Don't jump into marriage because you want to have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's the right thing to do in order to have sex. Is to get married.
Don't turn a sexual relationship into a married relationship, because a lot of black people do that.
Wow, that's bad. And now look, here's one of the things that black folks do a lot that impacts their marriages. Arguing about chores. That's a big one, Keith, because black folks got this notion about the man's job is to bring in the bacon. Then they go down with the wife's job is to cook, wash the dishes, take care of the children, help them with the homework, provide me with sex, encourage me, keep my clothes clean, fix my lunch, keep the house clean. Okay? Arguing about chores. Now, let me just throw this out here. Look, now if you're not working and your wife is working, your role is to do whatever the wife can't get around to doing it. In other words, it's shared roles. Stop buying into European standards about what a man and a woman's supposed to be. Well, you're supposed to bring in the bacon. You can't bring in the bacon if you don't have your own business, haven't set up a little sideline entrepreneur spirit, or you've been laid off of your job. So when you're not bringing in the bacon, then you as a man feel less than a man, because you value yourself based on your job, your money, and your position. Black men, please stop that. Don't take manhood to be based on those type of issues, because you feel like I'm the president of this corporation, and when you no longer have that job, your manhood goes with that. Then you begin to feel like nothing, because you're built in your mind that your value is based on that prestige position. Now you mad and argue with your wife because everything she says now, you think she's looking down, she's talking down, she's saying this to you because you don't have a job. But she's saying what she's been saying to you all the time. But you're not thinking, you're allowing what you think a manhood is. You're projecting that feeling onto your wife, what you think she should be thinking, because you're not bringing in the bacon. Wow. So chores. Black folks argue a lot about chores.
Yep.
And they argue about the kids, Keith. Because they have different belief systems.
Oh, yeah. But it's not as cohesive as it used to be. Now you have all these, back in the day, we can pretty much figure out how most black children were actually raised. We kind of have a standard, but I think we've kind of lost that. I think feminism has a lot to do with it. Before we never spared the rod, and all black people knew that. It's like something consistent across the board that With children, we never spared the rod. Now we get this, okay, well, I don't spank my children. I give them timeouts. And and you have the father says, guess what? I spank my children. And you got this back and forth.
Yeah, my dad would say, I'm going to give you time out. You're going to be time out on the floor, knocked out for about 15 minutes. You got time out, all right, about 15 minutes. You know, black folks have so many things that they argue about. They value, you know, chores. When you're supposed to do this, this is your role. We need to have a national conference to determine what our roles are. We need to set the standard for our role and not allow it to be determined by someone else. And we really need to talk about child rearing. Yeah. Maybe you grew up in a home where your mom or dad whipped you, beat you for everything, and your wife came up where they didn't get spanking, they got time out, or they got this kind of punishment. But here you come together, and one believes in spanking, the other one doesn't. Now that's jacked up, you all. That's why these are issues. In fact, I wrote a book. My sister and I, she's an attorney. We wrote this book, What You Need to Know Before You Get Hitched. You all. Everybody out, if you're married, you can use it because you can realize some of the things you still need to know. If you're a singer, it'll be a perfect gift for you to give to your daughter, to your son, anybody that you know is singer. What you need to know before you get hit. You can go to drrosie.com and click on Books by Dr. Rosie. What you need to know before you get hit. These things should be talked about. Expectation. How would you do you children, do you believe in spanking? Or do you believe in beating? Because some I believe in knocking them cold. I believe in this. and then you hear the woman say, you're not gonna hit my child like that. It's when they say it brings a little humor to me, because it's like I'm saying, is this the father? You know how women take possession of these children. Well, you ain't gonna do this to my child. I can tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just their child only, you know.
It's their child when it comes to everything else, but when it comes to coming out of your pocket, then it becomes your child.
Then it becomes okay, coming from a man. You guys coming from a man.
All of a sudden, how come you didn't buy your baby clothes this week, or how come you didn't get your baby a haircut? That's your baby. How come you don't? You know?
Yeah. Yep. And Keith, a lot of divorces comes out of differences and how we're going to discipline or raise our children. A lot of chaos comes out of that, especially when there's time you want to buy certain things for your children and the husband is saying, well, I don't think they need that. You know, and then what the woman do, she tend to go behind his back and buy the kids stuff or do stuff. In other words, one of the issues is not being together on finance, especially when finance is a critical issue in a marriage. Now, that's why I say, folks, don't think that our issues are not different from, from others, because it is. Because it's no question, no doubt about the economic disparity between races. So when you're more economically challenged, these issues magnify itself. When you getting this boy a second pair of tennis, when the tennis he has is already good. Yeah. And this man is struggling, trying to pay his car note or trying not to let the insurance lapse. Yeah. These become real issues when you're struggling financially. That's why budgeting, and again, that's why I wrote the book, Creating a Budget Made Simple. And that budget is a family budget. It's important to look at what we want, what we need, what we're going to buy. Those who celebrate Christmas, you don't wait till Christmas to start thinking about what you're going to buy for the kids. You need to find out at the beginning of the year, what are some of the things they need? What are some of the things you want? See, I never celebrated Christmas like that. If you need shoes, I need to get them now. I don't need to wait till Christmas to put them up on the tree. I don't do that Christmas stuff. Because I'm not going to work hard and buy you something and tell you that somebody from the North Pole brought it down the chimney. No, I bought this, and you better take care of it, okay?
No, yep.
So if we talk about it, Keith, and budget it out, then we won't have all these fallouts.
I think a lot of resentment comes through is made through that. a lot of time, because I'm mad at you, I'm going to put I'm not going to be as understanding, and I'm going to put extra pressure on you to do something, even though you can't afford to do it, because I can't get back at you any other way because something you said to me or did to me last week.
Wow. Now, Keith, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So I will punish you. I will ask you to do something that I know you can't do, and I know it's going to make you feel bad because it's going to crush your manhood that you can't do this.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. And kids get a little enjoyment out of seeing you all sometimes go back and forth and taking sides. And many marriages, if I could take a survey right now, there are a lot of people who divorce would tell you it had to do with the children. I wish I had stayed. I wished I had counseling. I wish I could have worked it out because now I'm here with the children by myself. They don't do anything I say do. They don't respect me. Some of them have even said, if it wasn't for you, my daddy would be here. People are going through a lot with that kind of stuff. You cannot allow children to control your marriage. And for a lot of blacks, there are blended families. Because if you're 25 and you're dating, more than likely, you're going to be dating somebody with a job.
Yeah, and that's now, and these days and times, you're back in the day when, like, say, when I grew up and Dr. Rosie, when you grew up, if there's going to be a blended family, the mother and father came together. The man and the woman came together, and they outlined what kind of rules they were going to have for the house.
Right.
And even though they may have disagreed, they didn't disagree in front of the children. It was a unified front, with the children. Right. In other words, you couldn't, the mother, if she brought children to the relationship, she would not allow her children to disrespect that man.
Exactly. Now you got women saying, well, a child saying, well, you're not my daddy. No, I'm not. I'm not your father. We can agree on that. But I am your mother's husband, and I would like to function as a father could to you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be your father. I'm trying to be a man that can provide an example to you as what manhood is. I'm here to support you and to guide you into manhood, that you would be a great father when you grow up. We have to learn how to dialogue. And when he run to the mother, well, he's not my daddy. You may not I don't like him. Baby, you don't have to like him. I'm not demanding you to like him. But you must respect him in a way that is going to appear that you love him. You're going to have to give him that much respect.
You got to respect him, yeah.
So women really do need classes when we have blended families.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting married when you have children. Who taught you how to have a blended family? Keith, we need so much. We need so much education in our community so we can blend these marriages. Because why would a man want to stay in a relationship with someone with baby kids? Okay?
Well, the thing is getting to the point. Back in the day, because I get this from a lot of younger men. Back in the day, it was a lot easier, and men would marry or get in a relationship with a woman with children, because there was understood rules. In other words, I didn't have to worry about the kids disrespect me, or have to worry about chaos in the household because there was understand rules, even sometimes with the father of the children, because back in the day, if a child came into the household and the child was acting up, you're not my daddy. That husband would get on the phone and, okay, I'm gonna call your daddy right now. He's gonna talk to you, and that daddy would get on the phone and said, look, you're in that man's house. He's providing for you, and other than him doing something abusive to you, you are gonna respect that man in his house, and you're gonna do exactly what he says. Do you understand me? And that child, and the mother would repeat the same thing, and there would be no more questions about, I'm not your daddy. But that doesn't exist nowadays. So guess what black men aren't doing?
What?
They're not getting relationships with women with children.
Wow, women, you all hear that?
Mm.
Call 310-928-7733.
Yeah. In fact, I have that.
310-928-7733. What Keith is telling me here, that's why a lot of black men are backing off,
Oh yeah.
getting in married. Now they
Yeah.
have relationship with
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah.
They have sex with you.
Yeah.
Keith didn't say that, but I'm saying it for him.
Mm. Oh
They
yeah.
will have sex with you, but they're not going to marry
Oh
you
no, no, no.
with children because
Nope.
of the attitudes that women are bringing into these marriages
Marriages
with
with
children.
children. Yep. 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 Because you're coming in like I need help, and they're saying, well, with the attitudes that you have, and you don't have your relationship your relationship with the child's father together. That's a big no. So a lot of women think, okay, I'm not getting along with my baby daddy, so I'm gonna go find another man to help me with this kid, and that man's gonna look at, wait, you don't even have a good relationship with that man's with the father of your child, and you lay down and had a baby with him. What are you gonna do to me? And they back off. So it all kind of comes together. Even if you can't be with the father of their children, you have to work out with a working relationship with that man, so that your next relationship, it won't carry over into your next relationship.
And Keith, years ago, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
when a woman had a child and she got married, now I understand what I saw in my family, how the mother and the father would take. That's why a lot of us came up being reared by Big Mama. Well, for
Mm-hmm.
the same reason, Big
Mm-hmm.
Mama would not adopt, just take that child. When you got married, that child that you had before that marriage, that child stayed with Big Mama.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A lot of that took place in the African American community, and nobody felt like you gave the child away. The children didn't grow up feeling abandoned. They were living with Big Mama already. Both of you were living there, and she was really like Mama to both of you all.
Yeah.
So
She was.
when you moved out of the house, the child stayed with Big Mama. Big Mama raised those children. Now I see why they did that,
Mm-hmm.
because of the potential problem that it could have caused in that marriage.
Yeah. There's a lot of it until the child was kind of like old enough to kind of almost like take
Right.
care of itself. Yeah.
So folks, that's why I am talking about the divorce and reasons in the black male and female marriages.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start calling in and writing me and emailing me, telling me that everybody have the same issues, you need to get your head out of the sand. I'm talking about issues that's more prominent among black people. And Keith, we have something on the board.
Okay. Now, this is from Barbara Walker. It said, good morning. At first, I was going to call in, but I get too mad when talking about this topic. Our number one problem is that black couples tend to live in fantasy land and do not communicate within the truth of our situations. If we are financially poor, let's deal with our situation from that standpoint and build upon ourselves.
And build ourselves
up. And build ourselves up.
Exactly. Exactly. I wish you would have called in, Barbara, because you're absolutely right. When you recognize your condition, when you know that you're economically deprived, don't try to live like Miss Ann on the other side. Well, Mr. Joseph bought his wife this. He owned the business and your husband worked for him, okay? There's a difference.
Yeah.
So we have to understand, build on your situation, build on what you have. So if you know you can't afford a certain thing, why would you have your husband working 2 jobs that he never have time to spend with you or the children so you can keep up with the Joneses? I've always tried to figure out, where does love come in with that type of situation? When a woman say, I'm not going to work, that's the man's job. How can you feel good having your husband work 2 jobs while you stay at home and watch TV or gather with your friends? Because a lot of people who stay home, I don't see that much they're doing with the children.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a part-time job to help out, that's your husband. That's the man you love. That's the man you care about. So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, you should. But, like I said, different expectations out of a marriage.
Well, we better start talking about it, because every time there's a divorce, we lose. Okay?
Yeah, because
if you're single, you will not. Most time, you're not going to be economically empowered trying to rear these children by yourself, and you're putting the father in a struggle, because the average black man cannot take care of 2 households. He can barely take care of the house that he's in. We got black men right now sleeping in their cars in lieu of going to jail because they can't pay child support. And when they finish paying child support, Keith, they don't have enough money left to pay for an apartment.
No?
I had a show. Yeah, they're sleeping in their cars. One guy said, the only reason I'm not in the street because my mom allowed me to stay at her house when I get through with child support. And then women are saying, well, he should have thought about that when he was doing the do. That's not the attitude to have. Come on.
Yeah,
that's not the attitude to have.
Unfortunately, that's what's going on. You
But
hear
who's
that a
thinking
lot.
about child support when they doing the do? You wasn't thinking about it either. Woman wasn't thinking about it. You wasn't thinking about all the things that you were going to have to be responsible for when you were doing the do. So come on, stop all that silliness.
And then when the child gets older, and then the child's never seen that father, then it's a man's fault for never coming around.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys, this show is going to re-air again tonight. This is a great show. This is information. Those who don't get a chance to listen, I hope they can share with others that they'll be able to listen. And one other big thing, you all, Now, we've been talking about how, well, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail on this. A lot of black women just letting it hang. They just getting too big. I know I'm going to get some email on this, but I'm just saying, maybe it's the stress from the relationship. Maybe it's the pressure.
What is that? Because I have 2 daughters, and I know food tastes good. I know food tastes good. And I'm saying, I got young daughters in their 20s, and I said, you can't carry, you can't carry that kind of weight. I mean, in your 20s like that. I said, because you're pretty, but the thing is, your weight is too much for your size. I said, what is it about black women that constantly like to eat rich food? It's not like they
they eat good.
They eat good. I said, I understand food is good. They love to eat. They love to eat. They love to dine.
Well, I don't know if it's stress. I don't know what it is, Keith, but it has a lot to do with these divorces, you all. Yeah. Women, you better hear me. You better listen to men. I mean, they talk to me. The men have always talked to me a lot. I was reared with my brothers and my cousins. I used to spend a lot of time with them. That's why, and I was reared by my father. My mother died when I was 5. So I have a lot of insight about men, what they think and how they feel. And men are not happy. They'll say, well, baby, it's okay. But you get in married and you get up to 400 pounds and then you talk. But he said for better or worse. People ain't paying no attention to those vows. He said for rich or poor, but you get your butt poor and don't have nothing down and out and see how long she's going to be with you.
Yes,
in most cases. Just saying. So don't fall back on those vows now because you want to eat yourself into a blimp. Don't send me no hate mail while you eat yourself into a blimp.
There's a couple where a woman did eat herself into a blimp. He was trying to get away from her. He was trying to commit suicide because he didn't want to be with her no more.
But we're so into image in this country, man. We're so into image, and what happens is that when you gain too much weight, then you become less physically attracted to men. Your husband, not you, baby. I said, baby, you look just like you did when I met you size 12. You ought to stop lying. Just stop lying. That's the thing. We don't know how to be real. And see, it's a way to be real without hurting the person's feeling. So, well, babe, I'm more concerned about your health. Now you talk to her. Now she can understand. I want us to live a long life together. And being obese can impact your heart. This weight can cause arthritis. I mean, do you all understand what I'm saying? Take it and turn it into a positive. Turn it in a way to show her or him how much you love them. Mm-hmm. The reason you're concerned about the weight, not because you can't do the same position sexually that you used to do, and you slow and you tired, or you don't come on.
They're tired.
They're all this weight on you, tired, and
you going to the doctor all the time, and yeah.
Don't do that. Build her up. Let her know. Then that'll give her more incentive Because the more you badge a person about eating
Mm-hmm.
and about the weight, the more they tend to want to eat. Don't badger them about it, but always show them how much you love them, how much you want it for them, and what can I do? I will start eating the way you're eating, not all that other stuff, in a good way. Let's find a diet, nutrition that's going to help you, and I'm willing to eat what you're eating. Now that's what love is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what love is about. So that's what we're talking about. It really takes a toll on a person's self-esteem for a woman. But Keith, what about these big old men? I don't think nothing bothers their self-esteem. They think they all of that in a bag of chips if they weigh 400 pounds. Let's talk about that. See, women take on their self-esteem. They don't feel sexy anymore. So when they don't feel sexy, then it impacts their marriage. And it becomes them. Sometimes when the man is not that bothered about it, but because she's so bothered by it, then she projects those feelings onto her husband. Well, you don't like me like you used to. You don't hold me, like you used to. Well, he can't hold you like you used to do. He can't even get his arms around you now. I'm just saying. But we're going to do something about that. But it does impact marriages.
Yeah, it does.
And black marriage a lot because black folks are so set up on image. That's one of the reasons that a lot of us don't have money. We believe image is more important than what we have in our bank account. Yeah. Image is so important to black folks because you've been told that you were ugly. You've been told that your lips too big, your butt too big. Image means a lot to black folks. You all don't ever forget that.
Yes, it does. It does. Image does mean a lot. Image does mean a lot, and when we can't achieve a certain image, we feel bad. Right. And it crashes our self-esteem even more.
But Keith, let's go back to these men, okay?
Okay.
They weigh 500 pounds, be stepping up into your face like they weigh a size 2.
Oh yeah. Well, they'll step in your face. They know they're 500 pounds, but the thing is it's what is it? Closed mouth don't get fed. So I might as well take my. Well, men are much more accepting of rejection. So it doesn't matter whether you reject women. If she weighs 400 pounds, she won't try to catch the attention of a good looking guy because she doesn't want to get rejected. But men figure, okay, she rejected me. I just go to the next one. So that's what that is.
And they feel like, well, it's such a shortage of men to, it'll be easy for me to find a woman. And women feel like it's such an abundance of women that the men have so much more to choose from. That's an interesting dynamic, Keith.
Oh, that's part of it. But the other part of it, if he's been a big guy all of his life, he knows he's gonna have to approach so many women to get a yes. So somebody's gonna like a big guy. Just got to find who she is.
And he knows enough of them out there.
Out there, yeah.
That's going to be looking. Yeah. Now, we promised to talk about when men cheat, how women will forgive men for infidelity, and men will not forgive women. I decided that's going to be a whole show, and we're going to have bring some men on who have had wives who have cheated on them, and they were able to stick it out. And we're going to bring women on who have had men cheat on them, and they
I would say this is just to kind of whet their appetite. There's two different standards.
Right.
It's not one standard, two different standards. If a man cheated on a woman and a woman told him to leave, he'd leave because that's what he would do.
I believe that too, because he feel like the door is closed. There's no forgiveness. And I always say, if there's infidelity, if you cannot truly forgive that person from your heart, you might well end that marriage right there, because it's already in. If you have to bring it up every day, wash his face with it every day, just go on down there and tell the judge, Your Honor, this is not going to work out. You have to let it go.
Well, women come preconditioned that there's a good possibility that their man might cheat, and they were always so their acceptance level is a little lower. In other words, their boundary is a little lower. So in other words, if he cheats once or twice, I can get past that because I've already been conditioned to. So when a woman cheats, she expects the man to uphold the same, the same, standard that she does.
He's not going to.
And he's not going to because he's a man. So it's not that it's not that there's a double standard. There's two different standards.
Well, it's because the man feels like James Brown. This is the man's world.
yeah, we can really get into it. It's probably will take a whole show. We can get into
it's going to take a whole show, and we're going to talk about when a person possibly should stay and when a person, should be able to accept it and move on with with their life and how they can do that.
Oh, yeah, that's that cheating thing. It's always in the TV shows now with the black TV shows. I think there's two TV shows. I think it was Insecure that they dealt with that by Issa Rae. She dealt with that heavily, and then Being Mary Jane, just the last season, they really dealt with cheating heavily. In fact, I think it was her mother cheated on her father, and they're like in their 70s, and she cheated with an old ex-flame. And exactly what happened, he didn't forgive her.
Oh, that's the man. Look, you guys, that's the man for you. That's the man for you. Okay. Yeah. Look, this show is going to rebroadcast at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. Someone said something. If you're not married, is it ever cheating? No. If you're not married, it's no such thing as cheating. If you're not married, he belongs to the universe. So women and men get over. He's not your husband. If he didn't put a ring on it, okay, he's not cheating. He's just making choices. No, he's not cheating.
There's a lot of, I guess so few men are getting married today, nowadays, that the women are putting the marriage standards on their boyfriend.
That's the women's fault. If you close your legs, if you stop letting them get the milk without buying the cow, then they will get married. If the women would go on a sexual fast, if every man got a for 3 months, I guarantee you they'd be married.
That's true. In fact, I think Janet Yellen did a paper on that back in 1996, saying the same thing when they gave women the pill and the right to abortion, and they're more sexually free. She said exactly that same thing, that when women didn't want to give up sex, the men could say, "Well, if you won't, another woman will." And that's exactly what went on. You're 100%.
Put a ring on it, baby.
Put a ring on it. In fact, there's three to really close on this. There's on Facebook there's 3 different relationship statuses now, right?
Okay, what kind?
There's single, there's in relationship, and then there's married. Used to be single or married, but now there's 3. In other words, if you're in a relationship, you're not single. So women have created a third dynamic.
That's of the devil. That's of the devil. That's of the devil. See?
Oh, you're going to get some mail, Dr. Rosie. You know that.
That's of the devil. You single or you married. There's no other way to slice it. I don't care what kind of icing you put on it.
I've had some girlfriends say that to me. You're not single.
Because you're in a relationship.
Because you're in a relationship.
Well, I know I get hate mail on cheating, but if he's not married to you, he's not cheating. That's bottom line. It's bottom line. Well, you guys, it's been wonderful. Our time is up. We've had a great show. We had a lot of listeners. I guess they were scared to call. Oh, why they were so scared?
They said they were up there boiling. They said they couldn't unleash it.
They're mad, huh?
Yeah, they're mad.
Well, you all don't forget, for black folks, we are talking about those reasons. We said we talked about infidelity. We talked about money, communication, disregard, devaluing each other, one making more money than the other one. And weight gain is a big part. Weight gain is a big part. And as I said, a lot of our women are just getting a little out of hand with this weight, you all. It's impacting you. It impacts your relationship. And most of all, it's impacting your health. So be healthy. Be healthy and be safe. Be healthy and be safe. We love you. Same time next year. Tell your friends to tune in tonight. Go to innerlightradio.com at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's innerlightvideo.com. We talk to you next week.